vision. So obviously, we know there's like so many things going on right now with depression, you know, especially like from like what, 17, 16 to like 25, 30. A lot of people are just like down. People are trying to get money quick, chase a fast life. Obviously, I just recently went on a journey of trying to get to know myself more and, you know, just get more in tune with myself and like what I actually want in life. Like if I was on my deathbed, what would I want to say that I've accomplished?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you feel? Do you feel like that's kind of lost in this generation? Like everyone's just chasing, like, what do you think? Like, what's your take on?
Bro, it's really important because I feel some people who don't actually have what they want for themselves in this life will end up chasing anything that comes up that looks like what they want. So I'm trying to say, because if, for example, you say in so and so years, I want to be that, I want to be this, then you can always work towards it. And even if, say, plans change, because I feel like in terms of writing a vision, the steps you take is like plans. Okay. So there's like vision is the final end goals. Like close your eyes, for example, you'd be like, what do you see? Yeah. So for me, as called out, I saw a world where Christians could enjoy good quality music without having to feel like they're compromising on the message. Okay. That's the vision. Okay. So my plan was, okay, I need to get my setup. I need to get my studio. And then I need to start writing all these songs and I need to produce it. And then I need to get distributed and I need to get management. And then before I knew what was going on, because I could take all these plans step by step, I was able to have small success goals and then achieve them to have that vision. Okay. So it was like, what I'm trying to say is people don't necessarily know what the end goal is. So anything that comes up looks like, oh, I can chase this. Yeah. And then after a while, oh, I can chase that. And then when they chase all these things that they didn't have a vision for, and it flops, they feel like, oh, I'm a failure.
So how, like for you, like, okay, so before like Called Out was Called Out, was like, what were you doing before?
Producing.
Or was it, so you've always been doing stuff that were in line with your vision?
I started making music when I was 7.
Okay.
So it was like, I used to have this PSR, this, you know, the one that had DJ function. Yeah. But I used to produce on that. From literally like, you can have a record function and you have to go from 0 to 5 minutes. And if you flop at 450, you have to start again. You have to start again. But all those things like just pruned me for just igniting that fire in me. You know what I mean? Like there's always something in everyone that, yes, you have a career, but there's always that one thing that you just can't take your mind off. Okay. And whatever that thing is, that's usually in line, that can kind of fuel that vision. Because I'm an accountant by profession, but I'm not passionate about accountancy. I'm passionate about music. So why did you go into accounting? Like, where do you think all of this stemmed from? Do you think, for me personally, I feel like it's a deeper issue. I feel like it definitely stems from home. What? As in like where we're brought up? Yeah,
where we're brought up.
That's crazy.
How we were brought up. Yeah. Like, I've really just started getting into reading. So I'm like, my spiritual mentor right now is Dr. Miles Monroe. So I read a lot of his books. And he was just telling me stuff like a lot of us, I never really understood what a job meant. But he was like, a job is meant to be something that's in line with your vision or your end goal of life, that will either teach you something or like will elevate you to the next level. It's not meant to be something where we just sit in, I got my house, I got my car. At the end of the day, it's meant to be something that gives us the skills to enable us to be our own boss, if that makes sense. Or, I don't know, could you say self-employed? I don't think there's anything wrong with having a job. But I mean, okay, you know, you have the skill of art, fashion. Why can't you own your own company? Why do you only see yourself under somebody? So he just put all of that into perspective for me. And that's how I kind of saw it. So it's just kind of like, I don't know how I'm trying to say this. It's basically like, I feel like a lot of people, we get stuck. We weren't really taught at home that, okay, what's your vision? What steps do you need to take to get there? So we all know a massive thing right now in the African community is that you must go to school. You have to go to uni, which isn't a problem. But it's like, why? What's the reason for me studying this course? Is it in line with what I'm trying to do? There isn't really an end. A lot of us just do it because it's like, oh, my mum said I should do it, or they want to make their parents proud.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, my question to you is like, when did you know that this is what I need to do? This is how I need to do it. Did you have your vision down from the start? Or did you just kind of just flow into it?
Yeah, so like I knew when I was in around like sixth form, like college.
Okay.
So after year 11, I started to ask myself questions like, okay, if I think of 20 years down the line, and I look back on myself on 20 years, what do I want? Like you said earlier, what do I want to achieve? And I couldn't see anything educational. So that was a problem, because after in college, when we had to do like UCAS, where you have to like, so the true story is actually mad. So I actually intentionally put in the wrong unis. real talk. Because
You're a rebel kid.
No. I put in the wrong uni. Like it was a mixture of like, because I only found out before you had to actually submit the final application that on my days, like this is the wrong thing. But I had the opportunity to change it. But I was
parents?
Not before.
Before they actually...
Yeah. So I was like, I had an opportunity, I had like a week window to change it before they submitted it finally. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell my dad that I put in the wrong unis. So I have to wait another year. So what I did, but the reason I did that was because I wanted to try in my gap year to blow as an artist.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I just said, you know what? I'm going to blow. And then I'm going to blow, and then I'm not going to have to go uni. And then that gap year comes and nothing happens. Michael, nothing. Like literally, I'm sitting at home every day. I'm like, I don't want to go to uni. I want to do it because of my dad. And it's not like my parents didn't force me to do it, but it was like, it was a way out. Because I think sometimes our parents are telling us to do uni because it's it's what they know. It's like a logical, you go uni, you get a job. Then if at the end of the line, you want to do your passion, you now drop off. I didn't think I'll start called out till I was like 35. Wow. Literally, because I thought to myself, I'm probably going to work as an accountant, and then after that retire and then start music. And then so I went to uni, worst 3 years of my life, Michael, man. I literally had, you know, when someone is visionless, I could not see it. I
think that's a lot of people in uni right now.
Facts. Yo, like I had a conversation with so many people in uni. I was like, why are you here? And they're like, I don't know. Why are you here? And I'm like, so we both don't know why we're here. We both hate this course. So why are we doing it?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's so dangerous, because that's another reason why I feel like depression's high as well, because you study, uni's not easy. It's not easy. It's like, like away from the work, it's more like a mental process, because now you're on your own. Now you have to do this. Now you have to fight through. If you're sick, if you miss that lecture, you know you have so much to catch up on. So my idea of that is just kind of like, if you don't have a vision or like a reason, like if I know, for example, I want to own a construction company, I know that, do you know what? This is hard, but I have to do this because this is where I'm trying to get to. But if you're just there, you don't know what you're doing, eventually you're either going to give up or you're just not going to get what you're meant to do, innit? So
that's funny, because I was talking to one of my friends recently, and she's a doctor, or she's training to be a doctor. And there's courses like that. And I actually asked her, like, look, do you love medicine? She was like, Sam, I love it. She was like, I absolutely since I was a kid, I could not think of doing anything else with my life. And I was like, you're doing the right thing. You're actually, because she's nearly done. She was like, she's been there for like 6 years now, but every single day she wakes up and she's gassed.
That's what it should be.
That's what it should be.
It should be. You shouldn't be depressing.
It shouldn't be like that. So in my case, I was like, when I left uni, I said to myself, I've got 2 options now. I've got this degree now. I can either just go into this, or I can just continue with my music and just start. And that's when I started to have those like proper small goals. And I said, okay, I'm going to start bit by bit, because I knew how to produce. And while I was in second year of uni, I actually released a song, Working on Me, in second year, which made my degree harder, because I got a little taste of what my passion was like. And that just threw me off. Like, I found uni hard anyway. Like, but tasting creating music and the love that I got from it, especially Christian music as well, being a Christian, that didn't help me.
So what would you say to like someone who's about to start uni, but they know like either this course is not for me, or there's something more that I'm meant to be doing. Because I've had that problem for years. Like secondary school, I was always that kid that never concentrated in school. Like I was always creative. I was always fixing stuff, IT. So my problem was being multi-talented and understanding so many things. But at the same time, being at school, I just felt like, nah, man, like there's more to me. There's more to me. There's more to me. What would you say to that person? Like, because every single person that I've studied that's proper successful, they all took a massive gamble. So it's like,
I don't see. It's funny, man. Like, because I feel like what works for someone might not work for another person. So if I'm saying this is what I did, because in my case, I didn't necessarily take a gamble. I just went through the wars. I went through the struggle to get to a point where I was like, worst case scenario, I'm an accountant. So I made.
That's a plan B though.
That's the thing. That's the thing. So in my case, it was like, you know what I'm gonna do. I know that obviously, like, being a respectful first son, brother.
That one is crazy. That one madness.
Being a respectful first son, I knew like I have to give honor to my parents and like in just my lifestyle and my choices. So I said to myself, going to uni is gonna be the hardest thing to do, and I'm gonna hate it, bro. I told you, worst 3 years of my life. Not even exaggerating. But when I got out of it, I had 2 options. So that's my way out. So I would encourage anyone who has the capacity. It's hard. I'm not even gonna lie. Doing something you have no passion in, but sometimes you have to do what you don't like.
But that's what I'm saying though. But if you know the end goal and you know this is the course that fits within that, that's what I'm saying. Because I'm not saying uni's bad. I'm not saying people shouldn't go to uni. No, I'm saying know your vision and then look at what's best. Because sometimes you might not actually need a degree to actually do what you need to do. So that's the angle I'm coming from.
Because that's interesting. Because like, so for people who's like, I know what I want to do, but I also want to have a plan B. Because having a plan B isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's good. It's great to have multiple options. But it's like, sometimes it can either be a positive thing, because going to uni, as much as I hated it, as an accountant, I'm in control of my finances as an artist.
Yeah.
So there's always that side to look at. That is a plus.
That's a plus.
And that makes me a smarter artist. As an accountant, I've got time management. I noticed that when I finished my degree, I can get through studio sessions a lot more efficiently than I did before. I didn't even before I started uni, bro, if you took me to a studio, I'll be like, what's going on here? While I was in uni, I started to manage my time more efficiently, because I knew if I'm going to record music and be an artist, I need to kill at both things.
Yeah.
So finishing uni now, because I started to embark on that vision, I found that there were a lot of things that came easier to me because I had just been exposed to a different space at uni. Called Out had a massive start because I was in uni releasing music. So a lot of people ask me, oh, how come like this guy just came from nowhere? I had a group of people around me in uni who were ready to stream my music. So that's a plus.
So you're saying it makes things easier. Is that what you're trying to say?
For me.
Okay.
For me, like, I don't know about anyone else, but uni is a society. Uni is like a mini like institution where you have people living and like coexisting. And if I wasn't at uni when I started Called Out, would it be different? Would it have taken me a lot longer to reach certain numbers, to reach certain people? So it's like, although educationally it was the worst 3 years of my life, but for my vision, it benefited.
But that's what I'm saying though. You had a vision. So it was the worst years of the life, but you kind of had a backing that, I need to do this thing. If I don't do it, blah, 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 blah. My only view on plan B is that, again, I think it's subjective. I think it could either make you lazy or very motivated. You could see it as, I really don't want to go to this plan B, so I'm going to make sure I put all my effort. Or you could see it as, do you know what, let me just try this thing. If it works out, I'll go back to that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm kind of against a plan B, because I feel like whatever you put your focus on, there's no, Whether it takes you 5 years,
Yeah.
10 years, you will surely get it. As long as you know that this is where I'm going and I'm not trying to compromise on this. That's how I see Plan Bs. I don't really see it as something that, I don't know. I don't see it as something you should have, really. I feel like if you believe in yourself, if you know it, all takes faith. I know, but it's crazy.
That is tough.
Because I look at the Richard Bransons, I look at, who else can I give as an example? I look at Wayne Rooney. That guy has no he has no GCSEs. He has no,
something like that, yeah.
He has no education behind him. He knew he wanted to do football and he followed through. Like he did it. Obviously, I think it's all dependent on who you are, how much you believe in yourself, and how much you really want that thing. That's how I see it.
Does it also depend on, that's a great point. And to add to that, does it also depend on how good you are at that thing? Or, because...
What can't you learn though? If you're... Okay, do you know, answer this question then. Let me first back at you then. If it's dependent on how good you are, don't you feel like if it's something you're interested in, you already have some kind of ability to do it? Or could it be that I'm somebody who likes music and I just want to learn how to play drums?
Bruh, so, okay, so if my son came to me in about 10 years and said, Dad, I want to be a footballer, and I knew he was whack, I'll tell him to go to uni. Big man thing. I'll be like, son, maybe you should pray about this more, or maybe you should like just hold fire on this one.
What's whack? Like,
bro, if he's not getting picked for a Sunday team, and my guy, you know, whenever he scores, everyone's cheering him because like, oh, he scored a goal. Them one's there. If my son came to me and said, Dad, I want to be a footballer, and every time I watched him play, he was a cut above everyone else. Football teams are calling me saying, we love your son. And my son came to me saying he wants to be a footballer. I would be like, okay, have a plan B, but chase that vision.
But if you told that kid, look, right now, there's a lot of work that you need to do. If you really want to do this,
Michael, man.
Wait, hold on. If you really want to do this, because that's kind of deep. Because there's some kids here that come out, boom, they're singing and they can sing all the scales in the world, yeah. And then there's some kids that they have the passion, and because not all of these people that are naturally talented are the ones that actually make it, you know. The people that don't have the talent work harder than people that are naturally talented. People that are naturally talented are normally lazy. So for me, it's like, you've already put doubt in that child's mind.
I wouldn't call it doubt. I feel like maybe me, like
his dad told him that.
Wait. It's like, if me telling my child, look, maybe you should just hold fire on this, or maybe let's find, I don't know, not necessarily you're dead at something, but Michael, you don't, at the same time, life keeps moving.
Yes.
See, one thing I learned about is like, whether you chase your vision or you chase a career, life doesn't stop for you to make a decision.
Yeah.
If I have a friend who has a vision about something that it's obvious they're not
serious about,
or they're not so, I don't want to use the word not good at, because there was a time where I wasn't a good producer, but I still had the passion to do it. Right? That's what I'm trying to say. But I feel like that's not always the case with a lot of people. Like, there's some people that you can just tell, and I'm not trying to be mean, man, but I'm not trying to be deep. There's some people that want to be professional dancers and they can't move to the beat. Bro, no, you're laughing, bro. I'm not trying to do the two-step. But bro, like, I feel like where I'm coming from is that there's people who want to do something that clearly.
So are you telling me they can't learn? That's what I'm saying to you. There's some people that are not immediately talented.
So in that learning process, find something else. Because in the learning process, you have to remember that the world has a standard.
Okay.
Society has a standard. Because I'm a Christian artist doesn't mean I can put out anything.
Yes.
So if my music isn't sounding good enough, isn't moving people enough, people won't play it.
But this is what I'm trying to say though. Isn't that for a period of time?
Exactly.
Can't you go into a den and work?
You can
come back out.
So while you're working and the world keeps rotating and moving and we keep getting older and you're not getting any income because you're still in that space. This is what I'm trying to say about the vision. It's one thing to have a vision, but my vision...
No, sorry to cut you off here.
Yeah.
But it would be wise if you know this is what I want to do. Okay, Go and find somebody who you can work under. Find a producer. Find an artist who can mentor you, or who you can come up. That's what I'm saying, and that could be bringing income.
All the time.
That's no, but that's where courses come in, though. You can do a course. Use your time to do a course.
Now we're on the same page. Now we're on the same page. Because I feel like where I was coming from was people thinking that they're so good at something that nothing's gonna stop them, but they just sit and just wait for that thing.
They will wake up now. Life will wake them up.
That's my point. Life keeps moving, and I felt like for me with the music, uni was that for me. Uni was that. Let me better myself in something. Even though I know I don't like this degree, let me just go in, learn something else. I'm passionate about the music, and my vision is music based, not accountancy based. But whilst I was there, and the thing is, God works in ways that we can't never understand. I feel like going to the uni that I went to really helped. If you're so passionate about something, and I want to bring something else into this conversation, which is a calling.
Okay.
Which is like, I feel like a calling is something you can never run from.
Okay, but okay. How would you describe a calling? Is that natural? Is that natural talent?
A calling is something that is more than passion. A calling is something that you're born with. Calling is what you're on this earth to do. So
Expand.
So
is that something is it a talent? Is it a gift? Is it a skill? Is it something that's in your heart that won't let go? Like it's just there.
That last thing I would say is more what I would personally in it. Like everyone has their own definition of calling.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so I feel like it can be any of those. It can manifest itself in any of those things, but it stems from like a heart decision. Is like, so as a Christian, so it's bringing to that.
Yeah.
That shows like, I know that on this earth, my purpose is to glorify Christ.
Yes.
My calling is how I do that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Exactly. So how can I bring more people to the knowledge of Christ? And for me, I know I'm called to music. So I don't know if that helped me in terms of outlining my vision.
Okay.
Because I knew it was a calling. I knew that there is no way I can live my life and not serve God.
Okay.
In music.
Yeah.
In any capacity. So that helps me have this insane drive and focus that even whilst I was at uni studying something else, that was always there. And God in his mercy made it merge.
Okay.
So it's like, some people will now ask, so how do I find my calling? I will always say there's one thing in your heart that you know keeps bugging you and won't go away.
That's me, man.
Bruh, no matter how hard you try, it just won't go away.
Yeah.
And that's how you know like you're on this earth to do that one thing. So any other thing, like a career, can be like, oh, what can you just do, for someone? Yeah. So I always differentiate calling and career because some people, and if you're blessed, some people are on this earth to be accountants, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So for them people, I can't say, oh, your calling can't be an accountant. Yeah. You must do something. Some people are called to do that. So if your calling is career-based, fine. If it's arts-based, fine. But just make sure you have something that you can envision. Yeah. Because if you don't have anything to envision, you're just going to be moving.
Yeah, moving. When the sea goes left, you go
left.
Yeah.
And the problem I have, and often one thing I have to say real quick, just because you've envisioned something and it doesn't really turn out how you see it, doesn't mean you're a failure.
Yeah.
Because the difference between failure and success is perspective.
Exactly.
How
do you see failure?
Bruh.
Yeah.
Perspective.
That's a massive problem. And this is why, listen, we definitely have to do our part 2 because
bro,
I feel like there's so much to this. Like, even at home, when we start something, it's like, what's wrong with you? Your age mates are doing this, you're doing this, blah, blah, blah. But people don't understand that from every downfall, there's a lesson that you're meant to take from that to better you. Do you understand?
Fact.
So it's like you fall down because like you tripped over a brick. Next time you're going to that location, you know that, oh, the brick is there. I'm going to go around this side. But we want to talk that. So a lot of us take failure as, I'm rubbish, I'm useless, I can't do this. Then they give up and then they end up in a job or something that they just do for the rest of their lives because, they can't see the light. So give them some gems. That what would you say to somebody who right now, like you said, they know their purpose.
Yeah.
It's bugging them.
Yeah.
It just won't leave. It's always in their mind. They can't get rest. Everything. Even when they're at work, it's always on their mind. What would you say to them?
I would say, just don't let it go. First of all, there's a reason that thing is still in your mind. There's a reason you tried. Some people I've spoken to, they've tried to not think about that thing. There's a reason it's there. I would say, prayerfully plan your steps, give yourself small success like target, celebrate your wins as well.
Yeah.
And one massive thing, this is from experience. 2020, this year was meant to be the year that we had massive,
Yeah.
like for called out, this was meant to be the year for me. And then March pandemic hits. It's like, I could have looked at this year as a failure from then, but I have to change my perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, the world has changed. Can I? It doesn't mean that your vision, your end goal has changed, but how you go about it has now changed. But that's wisdom, praying for wisdom as well, which is so important. Like, don't ever feel like because things happen in the world which don't go according to plan, that means your whole building is, nah, like, there's a reason I have to adapt. And now looking back, I'm a much better artist than I was at the start of the year because I haven't traveled. Do you know how crazy that is?
It's dumb.
It's like, I'm so grateful for it. So taking those losses as, you know what, change the perspective.
Make you stronger.
I can't travel, but I can create.
Yeah.
And I created probably my best body of, in my opinion, my best body of work. Although I've only got 2 albums, but this is my best
Banging album.
Thankful.
Oh man.
So it's like, that's a perspective change. And like, so to everyone, that also make sure your perspective is always right. You're not a failure.
Yeah.
People need to understand that failure is a human perspective.
Yeah.
Because on God's ultimate view, we always win.
Yeah.
And he's taken us along that path. So change your perspective to his.
Yes.
And you can't lose.
100%. Nah, bro, thank you so much, man. Dope.
Appreciate you, man.